to my new Blender tutorial. Today I want to show you how you can make this kind of animation here. It's a combination of wigging and cloth simulation, and I don't want to waste your time. We begin right from scratch, so let's get right started. I start with a brand new file here. I'm gonna turn on my screencast keys so you see what I'm typing. I delete the default cube. And I start by importing an FBX, which I downloaded from Mixamo, and it's called Silly Dancing. And if I import this, you can see here is somebody silly dancing. What I want to do now is we add a head so that the head can react on the movement of this body here. Model the cap. So what we do, we select our object and we go tab in edit mode, and now you see it's different from there where the model is. If you don't want to have this, just select this icon here and you see now it's back there where it should be and where you hope it should be. What we do now, we make a cheap model because I'm a really bad modeler, but I'm lazy too, so we use the knife tool K, and with K I select here this vertex, and you have some options here as you can see in the status bar, and with C you can cut through. So if I press C, it toggles here between on and off, and I want to do on because I want to cut through the whole mesh, and then I press left mouse click and press return, and then you see we have here cut through the whole mesh, but we don't want to keep it that mesh, we want to have an own mesh for our cap. So we go to mesh separate selection, or for the guys who have no time, you just press P and say selection. And now you see in object mode we select the new created object and we call it cap. And as you can see, it moves alone. We have our own object. Now, but it still has an armature because it's inherited from the object here. If you just delete it, this object jumps around and maybe even changes the scale. We don't want that. We can stop this by just applying the armature so the object stays exactly in place where we want to have it. Another problem, it's still a parent of the armature. We don't want this. If we delete it, you see it even jumps more around and changes the scale. We don't want that either. So we change this, we undo this of course, and what we instead do, it's Alt P or Control P. I'm on a Mac, I'm sorry for this guys. I press Option P. You can check whether it's Control or Alt. I always don't know what it's on your computer, but then it comes clear parent and you say clear and keep transformation, and if you do this you lose the parent but it's still on the same place with the same scale. That's what we want. Now we go to edit mode and we press Z. Yes, and then we move this a little bit to the side, GY, so that it's filling a bit more. This is good enough, that's good. Now we check this little vertex here, and we say Shift S cursor to select it. We go tab in edit mode and we enter an empty plane axis. We move this axis a little bit GY to the side. Shift S cursor to select it, that's why we added empty. Now we can delete the empty because we don't need it anymore. I just want to have the cursor here. Now we select the upper loop guard and we go to the spin tool. The spin tool, you can change here which axis you want to spin. We want to spin around the x-axis, so if I now draw here this up, we got this crazy head, which I want to have, so I change here to this again. And now I go to proportional editing and say as 0, and now I play a bit with this circle here so that I get a nice head. I'm pretty happy with this. That's how I want it. And now I'm adding here another loop cut. So that's fine. Yeah. What we need now is a cloth modifier, because the class should control this head. So I'm gonna select here my loop cut, Shift S, cursor to select it. And now I'm gonna add a plane there, mesh plane. Tap to edit mode, and I say merge at center. Now I have just one single vertex there, and I press E to extrude somewhere in like there, E again, and E again, and E to the top. And it should be in the middle if you were in the side view as I was. And this is now our cloth. So we go here to physics and say cloth. What we do now is a little bit easier weight painting. I think a pretty nice trick is if we extrude now to X, we can select all doing. And then if you go in top view, we go to weight paint, and now we can press Option. And you see here on the status bar, it's weight gradient. So if I now make here a line, you see it's automatically weight painting as I want it. 1 at the head, and very loose on the tip of the head, so it's wobbling max. So I let this run, so I have now weight painted it, and now I delete the second vertices again, but the weight is still there. And now I'm gonna rename my newly created vertex group to pin, because that's what I did with the weight paint. It creates, of course, a vertex group. And now I'm gonna go in my cloth settings, and I choose shape, and I choose my pin. And if I now run this simulation, it's a cloth simulation, you can see it nearly doesn't move here at the beginning where the head is, which makes sense, which wouldn't do a head too. And it moves a lot here at the end. But as you can see, it moves maybe a little bit too much. A head wouldn't, or cap wouldn't do this. So of course you can increase the values, and you can set the values here if you are in edit mode, item. And you see here the pin is .2. And we change it to 0.5, and this one is 0. As you can see, it is not that less, so we take 0.3, and we start again. And I think this looks pretty nice. Maybe here a bit less. 0.9 is a bit too much, so I would say 0.7, and here, yes, let's see. Yeah, and if you like it, of course you can change it as you like it, and then the head is wobbling more or less. That's depend how you want it. I like it this way. Of course you can make it whatever you want. Now we need an armature which is exactly on the same points as these vertices. I know, of course you can now Shift A, add armature single bone, and then of course you can do select here my cloth, which is my cap, go to, no, not cap, I'm sorry. Of course, this is my cloth, that's why you should name it white. Go to top to edit mode, select this one, Shift S, cursor to select it. And then you can go to the armature, edit, and then Shift S, selection to cursor. Now it's the first bone, and then E extrude, and then again here, Shift S, cursor to select it, then again go to select your armature again and go in edit mode, Shift S, selection to cursor, and so on. But there is a much more lazy method, and I love lazy methods. And the trick is you just add here a skin modifier. Yes, you say, oh, what one do I want to do with the skin modifier? Well, the skin modifier has a great feature. It has create armature, and watch this. Now I have here an armature exactly on the points where I want them to be, and I did nothing for it. And now, lazy as I am, I just delete the skin modifier, and now I have the armature here. But I don't want the armature, of course, as part of the class, so I just delete it here, but I still have the armature here. So I call this armature cap. And that's what I want. I want an independent armature of the cap. What I want now is I want empties on every point of my armature, because we need constraints to that points. So of course now you can do again Shift S, cursor to select it, and then add empty. But lazy as I am, I have found a script in Blender Stack Exchange. I don't know who wrote it, but whoever was it, thank you very much. Which does nothing else, and so you go to scripting, new, and you enter this here. I think it's a pretty nice method. What it does, it gets the current selected object and the collection, and it saves the mode you are in, and then it sets the mode to object mode. Then it gets all selected vertices, so you have to select the vertices where you want the empties on, and for all these vertices it adds here the empty, and then it sets back the old mode. So if I now go to my cloth object, and then I select my cloth object. Okay, then you just select the vertices, go to scripting, and press play. And now you see, you just get these empties here all for free. We just do what we did before, clear and keep transformation. So they are not parented anymore. So now we select the empty, select the class, go to edit mode, select the vertex and say make vertex parent. Same to the next entry, click the right vertex, make vertex parent, next empty, shift select the class, tap to edit mode, select the vertex, Ctrl P, make vertex parent, and the last one just the same. And now if you play the simulation, you see the empties will follow. I think it's still too high, the pin value here. So I change these to 0.5 and I change these to 0.4 and these to 0.2. Sorry for this, but else it won't wiggle at all. Yeah, that's good. What we do now, we make the armature visible again and the cap visible again. the armature cap now gets the following things. I make the cap invisible, and now this guy here in edit mode has no parent. That's great. No parent, no parent. But here on the bones relation it has a parent, so we delete that parent. We go to the next, we delete that parent, and here we delete that parent too. Now we go to pose mode, and we add here bone constraint, and we add copy location, and target is here our empty. And we say damped track, and target of the damped track is this one. Same we do here, so we add a bones constraint, we say copy location from this one, and we say damped track to this one. So it's essentially this bone starts here, looks to there, this bone starts here, looks to there, and same here, copy location from here, and it looks to there. And if we now start this and run this in object mode, you can see the armature is following our cloth simulation. And what we do now is just make the cap visible again, and then we can connect the cap to the armature. So if we select the cap and we shift select the armature, and maybe it's easier if I do this here, Control P with automatic weights, and that's all. That's basically the whole thing I wanted to show you, and you now see it works. To make it a bit nicer, you could add here to your cap a solidify modifier, so it looks more like real head. So, and after the solidify modifier, you should add a subdivision surface to make it smooth again. And yeah, then it looks like this. And I think it's pretty nice, but you see, it doesn't follow the head. Well, all you have to do now is parent this guys all. So first, we have to find out who of the bones, we can see all bones if we go in viewport display, in what? No, K-names was not a bad idea. And now we check out who moves our head. So we go in pose mode, and we guess it's this one, and RX, yes, this moves our head. And this name guy is Mixamoe Cat. Okay. Now, all we're gonna do is we parent this to, you guessed it, Mixamoe Head. And we say Control P, boom. Now the cap is, as you can see, parented to the armature. The same thing we do to the class. So class, armature, this one, Control P and bone. And the same thing we do to the armature. So we, in object mode, armature. Now the other armature, bone, pose mode, head and bone. And now we go to object mode, and let's check it. And as you can see, it follows our head perfectly. If you have problems like this, maybe increase the solidify modifier. This could help. Or you increase the vertices down here just by pressing S and make it a little bit bigger, not too much, just as the problem is gone. As you can see, this looks nice. But here it looks like we have a problem with our mesh. So let's check that. We press A and we go to face orientation, and you see there's a red line. This is not good. So we A, Shift N to repair our face normals, and now it's good and it looks good. So we can turn off face orientation again. And I think this looks pretty nice. So I hope you learned something. I hope you have fun. Bye.